How's it going? We're going to get started in a little bit. Going to check my sound and everything. How's everyone doing today? How's it going? We're going to get started in a little bit. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Check my sound. How's everyone doing today? If you have any questions through this presentation, you can use the chat box. I may not get to it right away, but I'll come back into the YouTube and help you answer any questions you may have. All right, fantastic. We're almost there. Get all my stuff set up. So yesterday we had a number of people that came in on this live call. I was kind of surprised. So let's just get this thing started, all right? Your wish is your command. Your wish is your command. This is a CD set that was produced many years ago, and you were able to find it online quite easily. But the last couple of years, it's becoming increasingly more difficult. First of all, I'm going to share with you guys how you can get this program completely for free. It's very easy. Just follow these directions. First, you just want to go to any one of my videos, and you're going to find a link right in my description. So you want to click this first link. From here, you guys can read through this whole sales page. Just share a little bit about what your wish is your command is all about. If you are into Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Joe Vitale, Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale, Joe Dispenza, Zig Ziglar, Ryan Tracy, Les Brown, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Cadet Robert, Ed Foreman, Joe Bauer, Grant Cardone, Dennis Whaley, Marshall Silver, Neville Goddard. I'm a huge fan of Neville Goddard. You guys can find me uploading different Neville Goddard lectures online. This is definitely up your alley. If you want to get this program completely for free, all you need to do is click Buy Now. Once you click Buy Now, it's going to take you to this checkout form. You want to scroll down a little bit, and from here, you want to type in the coupon code, which is YWIYC. YWIYC. You want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, you can see the discount code has been applied. Now you can get this for completely for free. You want to come back on the top. Doesn't matter if you're on your desktop or your mobile. You're going to fill out the contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. That's all. So this is how you guys get the program for free. Very easy. Just use my link in the descriptions below. Later on, after the call, I will also put this link in the chats. I will say the comment section. Okay, I also put the link. But the code you want to be using is YWIYC. So don't mess this up. YWIYC, apply. And you guys can also use it in the lowercase, I'm pretty sure. YWIYC, hit apply. Yep. So it doesn't matter if you're using all caps or lowercase. The coupon code is YWIYC. Today I'm going to share with you what I learned from this program. Now, provided that I'm only giving you the broad strokes, I highly recommend you guys create the program yourself. Just a little bit about myself. My name is John. I was introduced to this program a couple years ago by my own brother. And I started listening to this program. And I was like, man, this guy's making a lot of sense. I've been studying personal development since my 20s. I've read many books. I listened to a lot of audio CDs. And all this information, it was very, very fragmented. I couldn't really piece the puzzle together. And what Kevin does so well is that he's able to piece together the laws of manifestation. And some of these lessons are going to get really uncomfortable because he's just going to tell you how it is. And I'm going to share with you what I've learned. The first lesson is, who do you listen to? The second lesson is the teachability index. The third lesson is the training balance scale. And finally, you have 4 steps to learning, or 4 steps to mastery. So these are the 4 major lessons that Kevin talks about when it comes to manifestation. He doesn't focus on astrological charts. He doesn't focus on buying crystals, no hypnosis, none of that stuff. It's very practical. I'll explain to you how practical it is. The first lesson you want to pay attention to is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to for advice? Now, you have so much social media screaming at you. You are subscribed to different YouTube channels, or you're subscribed to different email lists. Every single day, they are hitting you up. Now, have you really wondered, who am I listening to? Do they have my best interest at heart? Or have they really commanded mastery in that specific area in their life? When it comes to manifesting your desires, I don't care if that is for your health, for your finances, for your relationships, you need to be listening to the right people. So who do you listen to has 2 specific components. The first part is, listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. So for most of my life, I've been listening to the wrong people. I've been trained to listen to the wrong people. I'm sure most of us have. When I had some type of health problem, I was going to the doctors, and the doctors prescribed a whole bunch of medications, and I was just take them, but I couldn't really get my problem resolved at the root. Have you been in situations like that? Maybe the first example I can give you is even more practical, is about my own physical health. I wanted to get back in shape. I think a lot of guys, when we hit our 30s, something happens in our late 20s, metabolism is down. Doesn't matter if we were going to the gym, trying to do calorie counting, nothing is working. You guys understand? It's very frustrating. So I told myself, okay, at that time, all I knew was I need to be going to the gym and get myself a personal trainer. So I go to the gym. At that time, I was living in San Diego, California, downtown. And there was a Horton Plaza, there was a 24-hour fitness right there. I roll into the 24-hour fitness, and as you know, you go to any of these gyms, these trainers, they're going to be coming up to you, trying to become your personal trainer. Well, a lot of those trainers that were pulling up, they were not even in shape themselves. Who do you listen to? We've been trained to listen to people, to listen to all the wrong people. So some people, they may have some type of certification. They said, I got that certificate to be a personal trainer. I went to school for this. But don't you want people that have demonstrated success? Don't you want to be training with a fitness trainer that has a 6-pack abs? Because for us guys, we want to get 6-pack abs, right? And we can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to pick whoever. And that's the mistake people often throw at you. They're just going to say, hey, this is somebody that I know, or they're somebody, they got some type of paperwork. You just trust them. And I did that for many years. I tried to listen to the trainers, try to calorie count. I still wasn't getting the results. So number one, you have to listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Now, somebody, maybe you're a lady, you're in your 40s, you had a couple of kids already. Now, there's been so many changes in your own physical body, hormonal balances, imbalances. It doesn't make sense for somebody in their 40s and they're going to talk to a 21-year-old about how to get their health back into shape because they haven't gone through the same struggle. Only thing on that 21-year-old mind is, oh, you need to be calorie counting, okay, and you need to be coming up to the gym, doing more sets, doing more reps. That's all you got to do. Many people go down on this path where it just takes them farther and farther away from their goal. What are you doing right now? Who are you listening to right now is taking farther away from you, from your own personal goals. And some of these things we have to really look at yourselves very, very closely. Not everybody out there is for your best interest. Another example I can give you is, okay, if you have a health problem, medical condition, of course, everything that I'm sharing, none of this professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You got to seek your doctor with your best advice. Now that is out of the way. These doctors, not all of them have your best interest at heart, or not all of them can fix your problem. A couple months ago, I was going to the hospital. I took somebody there to the hospital. While I was there at the ER, these doctors been pulling up, and they're going to come up to you and says, I need to get your blood test done. Then get your x-ray, get your ECG, electrocardiogram. I'm going to come back and look at your reports. Coming back to see the reports, they're going to start critiquing everything on that report. These values over here within range, out of range. These values over here out of range, within range. And they're going to upsell you to the next set of procedures or operations. We're going to say, hey, we want to really monitor you, so stay over here in the hospital. Or we're going to send you down some path of a specialist. Listen, when you're picking a doctor, a family doctor, or whatever you're working with, are they actually healthy themselves? Can you use your eyes and be like, listen, if this guy has a body mass index over 30, 35, it doesn't make sense for me to have him as my own personal general doctor, or whatever doctor you got him on. Many of these doctors, they are not in shape, they are not healthy, they're struggling with chronic diseases themselves. When they're critiquing you, all your different lab reports, you just tell them, why don't you get up on that scale? Show me your weight. Okay, we're going to measure your height, and from that, we're going to get your body mass index. If you're over 30, just get out of my face. And that's the type of attitude you need to have going forward, or you're going to have some boundaries around, oh, who do you listen to? I'm not talking about acute trauma care, okay? If it's acute trauma care, those doctors are going to patch you up. But best believe, a lot of you need to go to the ICU and figure this out for yourself and look around. Many people in the ICU, they're not there because they got into a motorcycle accident, a car accident, nothing like that. It is littered, it is completely littered with chronic diseases, high blood pressure, kidney failures, liver failures, blood viscosity, it is just way out of place. Chronic inflammation. That's what you'll see at the local ICU. It's these internal organs that are failing. And these doctors, one by one, they have no answers for them. They got some painkillers going. What else do they have? Some corticosteroids to suppress the immune response. It's reduced the inflammation. Who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. People that went through some struggles. People that went through a season where they couldn't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Me, I demonstrated a lot for my own personal health. And the reason why that I say that is because I had so many struggles. I'd done so many things for myself. And there was somebody on YouTube. Now, he's not a doctor, right? But he also had a tremendous downfall. He was a world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. You know, he was competing all over the world. And then his health started to break down. You guys might know this guy. His name is Josh Mason, Detox Dudes. I started to follow his content because he specialized in detoxification. He tried to teach people, listen, the reason why his health was messed up, he did so many things. He took so many medications. He went to see psychiatrists. He was in the middle of Amazon doing ayahuascas, could not fix him. What really fixed him? Well, he started to clean himself from the inside. He started doing daily self-flush. He started doing colonics all the time. Started to eliminate internal parasites. Yes, many people of y'all out there, you have internal parasites. And I continued to go down on that path. The last couple of years, My health has only steadily went in the right direction, the right trajectory. So I want to share a little bit about who I am. My name is John, all right? So years ago, me, Southern California, I was showing y'all, this is me in Southern California. I was overweight. I was tying myself up like a sausage. I could not see the six-pack abs. Extremely, extremely frustrating. But now I have six-pack abs all year around without going to the gym. I have a program, Mega Poop Transformation Challenge, lose 3 to 5 pounds per month without going to the gym. So this is one of the things that I teach, but I haven't stopped. I continue to look into more information. First, I had to listen to the right people. I can't be like, oh, Josh isn't a medical doctor, I'm not going to listen to him. No, listen to people who have been where you are. That's the first part. Second part is, and they are at where you want to be. And if you find Josh online, he is vibrantly healthy all day, every day. He's not doing this roller coaster stuff. A lot of people, they do the roller coaster. What I mean by that is, well, they're gonna try to slim down, all right? They just said, okay, the next couple of months, I'm gonna go to the gym, gonna work out, lose that weight. So in the summertime, I have a six-pack abs to show off for my friends. What happens after summertime? They're gonna revert back. All those problems gonna come back, and they're gonna have that weight loss rebound. Many people, they're professional weight loss rebounders. That's what they are. Because they haven't really surrounded themselves with the right information, the right environment that can really get that thing on lock. So your health is not all over the place. It is just continually increasing and upgrading in the right direction. Isn't that where we all want to be? We want to be improving our health, improving our finances. You got to listen to the right people. So who do you listen to? Go through your inbox right now. Who's hitting you up? Go through your promotions tab. Maybe a lot of them, you got to be unsubscribing. Look through your YouTube subscription. Who are you subscribed to right now? All right, start to evaluate. Maybe some of y'all need to install a newsfeed eradicator. I actually have it installed. I have a newsfeed eradicator. So when I go to YouTube, go to Facebook, I don't see anything. I don't want to. That helps me focus. The next lesson is the teachability index. I got somebody here on my chat. If you have any questions for me, you guys can put it in the box, okay? So I'm just gonna type in hello. Don't be shy. If you have any specific questions for me, I'll be able to help out. And sometimes I'm going kind of fast. So these are actually the other channels that I have. The teachability index works like this. It's also two components. The first part is, what is your willingness to learn? Many people say I'm very teachable, I'm very coachable. How do you quantify something like that? Is it something you just make up in your head and be like, yeah, I'm teachable, I'm coachable? No. If you listen to Kevin Trudeau, he can quantify something like this. He can tell you if you're actually teachable, if you're actually coachable. Two major components. Number one, what is your willingness to learn? What is your willingness to learn? You have to give yourself a score between 0 to 10. That is the first part. I'm going to explain to you how you can give yourself a score with your willingness to learn. The second part is, what is your willingness to accept change? Also giving yourself a score from 0 to 10. What is your willingness to learn? This is how you can quantify it. You got to set aside your favorite activities and you're taking away that time to actually learn something useful. Maybe you'll find it in an audio program. Maybe you're reading books. You're attending conferences in person or online. Doing something that's going to better your life in the areas of your health, in your finances, or your relationships. You can pick one. Most people, when they go back home after work, what do? They turn on Netflix, turn on Hulu, Amazon Prime videos, catching their favorite TV shows, going to play hoops with the boys, go bowling, play golf, or there's just going to the bar and clubbing. That's what most people do with their extra time. You're willing to set aside that favorite activity and you says, you know what, I got 30 days of this month, and out of this 30, I'm committed to doing this many days. Setting aside my favorite activities, I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription. I'm going to be doing this, that, and a third to better my life, to learn information, to absorb information that's going to upscale my knowledge base regarding a particular topic. Give yourself a score between 0 to 10. The next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? What is your willingness to accept change? You also got to give yourself a score between 0 to 10. This is about application. Now that you've learned the lessons, let's just say you bought some exercise programs, P90X, Taibo, bought some exercise machines, read through the manuals from QVC, Peloton, I don't care what you got going on. But now it's about actually doing the exercises. You can't be popping in the DVD and watch Tony Horton and then all these people doing the exercise and you're just sitting there eating chips. And that's what most people are doing. They're like, I want to watch Tony, and Tony's telling you, listen, these are different variations, but you're just eating chips. So that tells you, if you're eating a guy eating potato chips, watching Tony Horton, your willingness to accept change is 0. It's absolute 0. So you have a score with what is your willingness to learn. Give yourself a score from 0 to 10. And give yourself a score, what is your willingness to accept change, 0 to 10. Some people, they're conference warriors. All they do is go to conferences. They buy every single book, but their life ain't changing because they never do anything with it. So they have a willingness to accept change of 0. You multiply a 10 out of 10, willingness to learn, but you multiply that by 0, your teachability index or your coachability index is still 0. You're not coachable. You're not teachable. And this is what's missing in the law of manifestation circle. And these are uncomfortable topics that people don't want to talk about. Because most people, they want to talk about the feel good. All you got to do is visualize. All you got to do is journal. Get yourself some crystals. Okay? All those things are very positive things. But if you really do those things, it should propel you to action. I wanted to get 6-pack abs, right? But I'm not going to get there using my old set of behavior. Maybe before I was in my early 20s, all I had to do was go play hoops for a couple of months and I get back my 6-pack abs. It gets increasingly more difficult in your 20s, in your 30s, and in your 40s. If you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. You have to develop your knowledge base on a new set of behaviors because the old ones aren't working. You can't just play hoops and be like, oh, I'm going to get back my 6-pack abs. You're not going to come back. But once you start to elevate your knowledge base regarding detoxification, eliminating internal parasites out of your body, I didn't even stop there. I started to flush out gallstones from the gallbladder and intrahepatic stones from the liver. Now, some of y'all watching this, I don't know if you're watching it live or watching it later, you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. Listen, I didn't even know about all this. I didn't come into the world pre-installed with this information. Do you guys understand? I had to go pour through hundreds and hundreds of books. And from there, I had to put together these protocols. And I saw the strengths and weaknesses of these protocols. And I combined and pieced together what was right for me. So now I'm on this thing every single 2 weeks. I've been flushing out gallstones since 2023. So over 2 years ago, I started doing this process. And it's been an amazing journey, right? But that gives me a lot more confidence. I see my physical body as a series of symptoms, as a series of systems, not just a collection of symptoms. Because the Western medicine, all they got is, oh, you're dealing with a symptom here? No worries. I have this medication for that. And this one medication giving you another side effect. You go back to the doctor and say, oh, we know that's going to happen, so we have another medication for that side effect. You see how you are now in their system? It is a mess, guys. So I want you guys just to first take these first 2 lessons. They're critically important. What did we talk about today? We talked about who do you listen to? Who are you listening to right now? And who do you need to be eliminating from your sphere of influence, right? And some of you, you're very close with friends, and then you know these guys, gals, they're not going nowhere, and they're just holding you back. Maybe you got to limit that time from these people in person, and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take a short season Gonna set myself that time. Gonna go hit the books. Gonna listen to these audio programs. Gonna attend some conferences online or in person. And there isn't like a one-way path for everybody. I'm just saying, listen, if what you're doing right now isn't working, you got to change it up. You got to listen to some new people, get some new people on your radar screen. Not only that, you got to up your teachability index. You can't just be, oh, I'm reading the books, but I'm not doing anything with it. There was a time I was hesitant about doing the liver and gallbladder flush, outlet on Andreas Moritz. And there are going to be times where you're uncomfortable doing something too, but the only way I'm going to get my results is actually getting the ingredients, setting aside that time, and actually performing the detox protocol. There's no other way. There is no other way. Once again, uncomfortable topics, a lot of law of manifestation channels don't want to talk about because it's uncomfortable. Because it's just the person that is holding you back is the person in the mirror. Nobody else is holding you back. So before I jump to the next lesson, I want to talk about how you can get this program completely for free. The first thing you want to do, there's going to be a link in my descriptions. You want to just tap on it once. You see a sales page. If you don't want to read through this whole thing, that's perfectly fine. You just click this buy now button. Hitting this buy now button, you want to scroll down a little bit. You want to type in the coupon code YWIYC, and you want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, you can see the discount code has been applied. You can get it completely for free. You want to come back on top, fill out the contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. And hit complete your order, complete my order. In a couple of minutes, you're going to see an email in your inbox. If it's not there, looking through that spam folder just in case. It may be in the spam folder. You want to redrag it back into your inbox. Tap on that email. There's going to be a link in that email. Tap on that link, and it's going to take you to the program. It's all digital. It's no longer in CD format. It's all downloadable. You can put it on your MP3 player. You can stream it. So that's how you get this program. Next lesson, we're going to talk about the training balance scale. Before I move on, if you have any questions for me, just type it in the chat box. Let me know what your questions are, how I can help. Anything I can make clear regarding your wishes, your command. Yeah, where are you coming from? Be happy to talk a little bit, chat a little bit. Don't be shy. All right, next we're going to talk about the training balance scale. What is the training balance scale? Every last one of these lessons I go over again and again. Why do I do that? There's so much for me to learn and understand. I have a deeper understanding of these lessons every single year, and it has to be in the back of my mind. So the training balance scale, I think of a scale that tilts back and forth. On one side of the scale, you have how you think and how you feel, your why. Dreams, goals, attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. That's on one side of the scale. On the other side of the scale are the how action, specific techniques, strategies, action steps, plans, activities, physical actions. Now, the world is always going to tell you in the world of personal development, it's like the reason why you're not achieving or to getting the results that you want is because you don't know the how actions. You don't know the specific techniques. You're missing the strategies. You don't know the action steps. Listen, right now you got ChatGPT, you got YouTube, you have Google, you got search engines. Are you really lacking the information? Are you really lacking the how actions? So Kevin trying to demystify the world on the law of manifestation. He's telling you you need to focus more on how you think and how you feel. Napoleon Hill, he wrote Think and Grow Rich. He didn't say you need to know all the action steps and get rich. You need to toil hard and get rich. He told you to think and grow rich. How you think and how you feel outweighs all this other stuff on this knowledge thing. Another way you can think of is this has a lot to do with the conscious and the subconscious mind. How you think and how you feel, I could be wrong. This is my current understanding of it. It's not just from a conscious standpoint, because anybody can think about something positively for a short season, maybe for a couple of minutes, before they're attracted to all the negative news again, looking for the bad, looking for what isn't going right, because that's really the content of their subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is driving everything. So what we got to do is learn about how we can really reprogram our subconscious mind to what we want. The subconscious mind, what are the dreams that it has? Okay? What are the goals and attitudes by default? Kind of like you're booting up an operating system, right? We need to get more in touch with the subconscious mind and think about how we can really re-image it. That's my current understanding. I could be wrong, right? What is your why? Not a conscious, oh, my why is, or my why is like that, right? It's much deeper than that. The dreams, goals, and attitudes, mental processes, vibrations, internal motivation. I'm going to pull up a picture, iceberg, subconscious mind. And many people, you're probably familiar with this picture, but we're going to go over it again. Don't be afraid of going over things that you already know. Because most people, they think, oh, I know something about this already. I don't have to go over it. Incorrect. That's a mistake, right? There's always something new that you can learn from old information where you can see in a different light. So the conscious mind, it's only 10%. And you guys know that. It could be even less. It could be only 5%. It is about your willpower, your short-term memory, logical thinking, critical thinking. Critical thinking is important, okay? But your subconscious mind are your beliefs, emotions, habits, values, protected reactions, long-term memory, imagination, intuition. When people are doing any type of marketing, that's what they target. They're going to overlay some images as an emotional pull. Not only that, they're going to overlay some music on top of that to make it very memorable. There was a commercial. If I'm speaking to an older crowd and have heard this commercial before, they all know what to say next. If I say things like, best part of waking up, somebody's going to respond, Folgers in your cup, right? So how do you know something like that? It's because they embed all these things. You got that. I can still probably remember most of that commercial. And that stuff is installed in the subconscious mind. They want to get that automatic. Now, most people, they're just installing a whole bunch of harmful things in your subconscious mind. One of them could be fear of missing out, right? Another thing could be, oh, you only live once, right? So you're only chasing temporary things. That's what they want you to have. They want you to think very, very temporal. You never have any long-range thinking. They want you to go to the casinos, right? Blow your money because you have a chance to win. And after that, you're going up to the clubs, right? Spending more money, drinking. That's how they get you. How do they do it? They do it through the media. They're through the movies. When you watch James Bond, 007, what's he doing? Casino Royale, right? He's going to somewhere where there is gambling. And somehow, some way, he always wins at the end. And you're dumbass, you're thinking, I'm going to be like James Bond. Okay. And that's how they get it into you. So we're talking about the training balance scale, right? One-sided scale. How you think and how you feel. Really sit with yourself, have some deep breathing, and see what really comes up. How do you feel? Truly feel about certain people, events, circumstances. What are your core beliefs? And it may shock you, right? You may have certain beliefs you didn't even know they were there. Why are they there? Who installed it there? And I really truly believe this is what Kevin's talking about. We need to have written down plans, goals, desires. You have a vision board, those are all important. But it's not enough where you just look at it once and you just set it aside and never pick it up again. How do we really install this into our subconscious mind? So when we wake up in the morning, we boot up as that future version of ourselves, not as the former version, because most people, they're living in the past, right? And the habits of the past, the thoughts of the past, and they're just within that neurology. How do we reinstall that image, the subconscious portion of ourselves? So that's training balance scale. Do you have any questions for me? Any questions for me? Just put in the comments. Yeah, don't be shy. Give myself a like. So the next thing I want to talk about, this is also part of your wish is your command, is 4 steps to learning. 4 steps to learning. This is an incredibly important lesson I want you guys to pay attention to. All these lessons, you got to come back and listen again and again. That's why I get the CD set. Let Kevin really teach you, because there's so many small little intricate details. I'm not going to be able to do it under an hour. The whole CD set is over 14 hours of content, guys. And each lesson, he's able to dive deep into detail. And there's also Q&As, so questions that you may have, other people have too. And you can see how Kevin responds to these answers on that CD set. The 4 steps to learning, we all go through these 4 steps. The first part is unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. When you first start riding a bicycle, you don't know what you don't know. You don't even know where to begin. Maybe you got some family members with you. They put you on a tricycle, get you some training wheels on, because you don't even know how to place your hands. You don't know how to pedal the bike. You don't know what you don't know. And that's perfectly fine. But you get back on that bike every single day, or that tricycle, you start to develop neurology for it. Next part, you become conscious and competent. You know that you don't know something. Maybe you're still riding your tricycle, you're watching your neighborhood kids. They can ride a bike perfectly fine. Not only that, they can ride a bike without holding the handles. You're just thinking, how do they do that? Something more. It's like a big aha moment. There's so much I don't know about riding a bicycle. But over time, you're going to get better and better. You become conscious, competent at riding a bicycle. You know that you know something. Maybe at some point, the training wheels are off, and you begin to balance on that bike. You're like, maybe I can't ride the bike without my handles, hands in the air, but at least I can get the bike going, right? I'm becoming more and more proficient every single day. And over time, you become unconscious competent. You just hop on that bike. You're like, hey, we're going to go with our friends. We're going to go to this place with our friends, and we just go. And there may be a season where you don't even ride the bike for 10, 15 years, for whatever reason. Maybe you're in the workforce now, and then you're just you're driving your car every single day. But you're going to go on vacation, and then your family members be like, hey, why don't we all get some bike rentals and check out this one spot? Right? This happens all the time. You're not going to become anxious all of a sudden and be like, oh my goodness, I haven't ridden a bike in such a long time. I don't know if I can do it. No, because you've installed how to ride a bike in your subconscious mind. It doesn't come from your conscious mind anymore. The neurology is there. The balancing of the bike is there. The shifting of the gears is there. It's automatic. Everything that you learn, I don't care if it's tying your shoes, I don't care if it's using chopsticks, you go through these different stages. And when you're learning content like this, your wish is your command. Who do you listen to? Teachability index, training balance scale, 4 steps to learning. You have to continually master these basics. And Kevin talks a lot about that. So, do you have any questions for me? I just wanted to see if you have any questions. Perfectly fine. My name is John, and I'm also learning and applying, right? And part of what I do to help me reinforce and drive these lessons home is by explaining. It's by explaining these different lessons so I can catch myself, right? Am I listening to the right people? Okay. I think Kevin is somebody you want to be listening to. If you are a little bit older, like I am, you probably see him in the TVs. In the 80s and 90s, he was the infomercial king. He came out with the program, Mega Memory. And then he also helped, I think it was Howard Berg, Mega Speed Reading. And there was another program that he also promoted. He made hundreds and hundreds of millions. Not only that, he was a New York Times bestseller, I think for over 20 weeks. The book that he came out was Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And I actually read that book even before I knew that he had this whole personal development side to his offerings. I just thought he was the natural cures guy, right? And I'm still learning, I'm still applying, and it's been a wonderful journey because I've only seen my health go up, money go up, good relationships go up, and different things get unlocked. If you take action, you're going to be presented with new information on your radar screen. But that's only if you take action. Okay? And it's a wonderful journey because there's so many things that was not even on my radar screen, last year, the year before, and even now. People, events, circumstances come into my field because of my tenacity to better myself, not just from a knowledge standpoint. So every single week, I'm learning something new. The last week, I went to this conference and they talk about family constellation. Okay, that was a particular technique, a modality in meditation, and I started to dive deep into it. And from that, I spoke with somebody, a good friend, and she told about she'd been studying the morphogenic field. So I've been studying that too. I could see how there are these different parallels. And a lot of this stuff has to do with the subconscious mind, the inner working subconscious mind. So right now I'm like, listen, I understand everything as a system. I have a deep understanding of that after recovering my own personal health. I know that, oh wow, if I can just really tighten up and really install or reinstall the subconscious mind, even though I made a lot of progress, but now I'm like, hey, don't just hunt down information. You have to hunt down information and install it so deep. It's down there in your subconscious mind. It's just like you're not going to get so anxious about riding a bike because you've installed it. You know how to ride that bike. Or when I started to drive my car, right? Now, I started with automatic transmission, but later on, my brother taught me how to stick shift. It was not the most comfortable thing when you start doing it, especially when I was out in Seattle at the time. You had these big hills. And I'm like, you got the emergency brake, right? It's raining all the time. Your car is like this. Your car is looking up this big hill. And you don't want your car to roll back, right? So you have the emergency brake on ready. And then you're working with the clutch. You get the gas going, and then you have to know where the car is at before you release the handbrake. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you have to go through these different stages before you're like, I don't even know how to drive stick shift. And now I got to drive stick shift with hills and rainy weather. Gets really, really messy. But over time, that motion of working with the clutch, working with the accelerator, with the gas pedal, working with their emergency brake, that just became second nature. We can do things like this with our subconscious mind in all other realms, in your areas of your health, in the areas of your finances, areas of your relationships. And that's what I'm excited about, because your life is permeable, it is changeable if you decide to change it. It doesn't have to go down a certain path. There was a time I was very frustrated with my personal health, and I was blaming it on my parents and DNA. And I'm like, the reason why our family's like this because we have bad genes. Well, that is some type of belief somebody else programmed in me. They told you that at an early age. It's like, oh, you can't escape certain chronic diseases. It just runs in your family. Is that really true? I started to question. So it is helpful. You can use the tools of critical thinking, use the trivium, right? You got that grammar, logic, rhetoric in place, and you can dissect whatever claims that they have. And from there, you start to research other naturopathic doctors, holistic doctors, and they have a different set of paradigms where it says, listen, you have a lot of bad eating habits that have been passed down through generations. Some people, all they do is go to Costco and they buy themselves cases and cases of soda, Coca-Cola, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and they drink that all week. And they do this generationally. You don't think that's going to have an effect on your blood sugar levels? So before I move on and talk about other things you guys want to talk about, I want to open up the floor. Let me know what you guys want to think and what you're thinking right now. You know, anything you want me to dive deep, a little deeper, share a little bit more. Before I move on and talk about other things you guys want to talk about, I want to open up the floor. Let me know what you guys want to think and what you're thinking right now. Yeah, somebody saw my watching for quite some time. So thank you. I want to thank you, first of all. Thank you for listening to this call, right? And because most people, they jump on these live calls, just drop out. They don't watch anymore. Because it's not just like feel good stuff, right? Feels good stuff is important. I want you to feel good. But I also want y'all to know it's more than just feeling good. Yeah, some people, they can feel good all their life and never have any results, right? And that's not what I want. You want real, tangible results? Well, I'm sure with a little bit what I've been doing the last couple of years. So over here, I got programs. I'm going to focus on ones with health. So over here, I teach people how they can get rid of their internal parasites. Parasites are very real, guys. I want you guys, don't just take my word for it. There are entire books, Library of Congress, or you can go to archive.org, a lot of free books on those two websites, or you go to your local library. There are plenty of books on parasitology, veterinary parasitology. You want to study both because if you have pets, a lot of them, they have parasites. And in this day, everyone's trying to take an Instagram photo with their pets, you know, and they let them lick all over their face. Your pets are vectors for parasitic infections. I don't care if they're tapeworms, liver flukes, pinworms, human whipworms. They are very, very real. Next, what else do you have? You guys got to learn about your internal organs one by one. The liver, okay? How is it connected? The intrahepatic ducts within the liver coming down the common bile duct connected to the cystic duct, connected to the gallbladder, coming back down to the common bile duct, connected to the pancreatic ducts. Some people, most people, they have just one pancreatic duct. Some people, they have two. So there are names for these. One of them is called the Warson. The other one is called the Santorini. And it comes back down to the common bile duct, into the duodenum, the very beginning part of the small intestines. Why do I know that? Because I look at that picture so many times, guys. I have it memorized in the back of my mind. So when I have any problems in this area, I know how to clear it out. And is that going to take a lot of work? Of course it took me going through a lot of books, looking through a lot of human physiology. Listen, y'all, people don't have the answers out there. Knocking on wood, okay? I'm just saying, pharmacists, they pull up and ask me questions now. Nurses, they be pulling up asking me questions. Because they're so specialized in just prescribing medications, or they're so specialized in nursing in a specific area, they can't piece the puzzle together themselves. So they're just going along. They're just going along with what other doctors tell them to do. You guys understand? And of course, this is just one small example, and I'm not really pushing this, guys. I don't really care. I'm more focused on talking about the law of manifestation now, right? On this channel. I had a whole separate channel on health, whole separate YouTube channel on health. But anyway, I just wanted to open up this floor. I know some of you have been watching this for quite some time, okay? If you have any questions for me, don't be shy. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Any other topics you want me to cover? Right? You put it in here. That's where I put in hello, right? So, did you learn something today? What was helpful for you? Any specific lessons that isn't very clear? No problem. I can explain it again in a different way. But recognizing that, hey, I'm not the master at this. Kevin, he's the master. He's the master at this. So get the CD set. He can explain this in much better. He has so many different ways to do it. Oh. Yeah, just taking a small little rest. Yeah, so once again, I want to thank you for jumping on the call. I don't know where you're coming from. Appreciate you. And this call is recorded, so I'm going to make some small edits to it. And you guys can watch it. Once again, for people that jump on later, just tap the very first link. Tap the first link in my descriptions. Click buy now. Use the coupon code YWIYC. It's the first initials of your wish is your command, right? YWIYC. Hit apply. Come back and fill out the contact, billing, payment information. Complete your order. It will be in your inbox. If it's not there, you just want to go use your spam folder, drag it back into your inbox. Then tap the first link and it'll take you to the program. So once again, what did we talk about today? We talked about your wish is your command. We had a very short introduction, and we talked about who do you listen to, teachability index, training balance scale, 4 steps to learning. You have an amazing rest of your week, and just reach out to me in the comments below if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to assist you. Have an amazing rest of your week. Be blessed.